Hello all, welcome to the second session of this course, Construction Materials. In the previous lecture, we saw the importance in studying construction materials. And in this module number 2, we will be discussing, I'll be taking you through the geological classification of the rocks. An engineer must be confident enough in choosing the right rock for his construction work. In construction industry today, we need to have the knowledge on different types of rocks, classifications of rocks, prices of the rocks on the market, etc. Then only your knowledge level in choosing the different materials will spikes up. Okay, as always, before starting, we'll have to learn what are the outcomes for this particular module. What are the outcomes for the module number 2? So module number 2 outcomes are, at the end of the this module, learners will be able to, number 1, outline the stone and rocks. Number 2, classify the different rocks based on their origin and based on different aspects. So number 3, distinguish different rocks based on the geological origin. So stones. What is stone? You must have heard stones, rocks, and different words in general. Generally, what will happen? A rock is a large concrete mass of a earthy or mineral matter, and rock is a technical name of a stone. So you must have heard the rock as well as stone too. Stone is a quarried or smaller piece of rock for a specified function, such as building blocks. Okay, these are the different differences between the rocks and stones. So what made a rock so beautiful and so strong? Of course, it is a mineral. So let us see the different types of mineral which composed to form a rock. So you must have heard feldspar. Feldspar is a one mineral. Cordazite, micas, hornblende, kaolinite, calcite, dolomite. These are the different minerals present in the rock. These minerals together, one mineral or one or more minerals together forms a rock. So this rock will get you different colors. It may be ruby red, black in color, white in color, or even mix up black and red, mix up white and black. This mixture of different colors in a rock is specifically based on the composition of these particular minerals. Primarily feldspar, cordazite, mica will be having very abundantly having in all kind of rocks. So the whatever color composition like red, reddish, ruby red will be basically formed from the mineral called feldspar. And cordazite is a basically it will be having a white color mineral. So this you can see even in rocks, all kind of rocks, especially in granite you'll be able to see all the kind of granites, different colors of granites. Then mica is basically it's a black in color. So these color combination, hornblende, kaolinite, calcite, dolomite, all these colors will come colors and different properties, even strength of the stone, everything will come based on the mineral composition of the different color and its way of formation of the rock. Yes, before understanding the classification of rocks, let us understand its properties of these particular minerals. What are the properties of these particular minerals? Anyways, it's a prologue class, but we have to understand the different parameters or different characteristics of these minerals. Let us take you through some of the important properties of rock forming minerals. These are number 1, hardness. Hardness, it is the most important property of a rapid determination of hardness. Hardness is it can be measured by scratching minerals with a series of substances of known variation in the hardness using the scale of Morse. There is a scale called Morse scale which will help you to have the hardness test. I mean the different scratching ability on the materials. For example, if you take your lime, in that lime you can scratch it or you can say vibhuti. In that vibhuti, if you scratch, it will be easily, the powder will easily come up. And if you scratch the same thing on your tiles or any stone material, that will not come up easily, because the stone has got highest hardness, as your vibhuti has got lowest hardness. That is called tack. That tack will be having very less hardness. So based on this more scale, you can find out the hardness. The second property is cleavage. Cleavage is the measure of capability of the some minerals to split up along the certain planes parallel to the crystalline faces. So cleavage is generally, if you take a stone, in that stone it will split along the its parallel plane. That is a cleavage. One stone powdery form only, it becomes two pieces. That is a cleavage. Some of the minerals will be having this kind of properties. So the cleavage is a second important property of a rock forming mineral. Then the third one is a streak. It is a color of a mineral in the powder form. When you scratch the any mineral, it will give you some color, but some of the minerals have different aspects. When it made a powder, its color will be different. When you see the entire mineral, its color will be different. That's where that streak plays an important role. It is color of a mineral in powder form. When the mineral is powdered, its color, that color is called as streak. Okay, this is studied mainly because all minerals will not be having the same color if you powder it. So that is the point of studying this. And the number 4 is color. Color, it is a valuable characteristic of metallic minerals, but less reliable for the non-metallic minerals. Metallic and non-metallic minerals. Metallic mineral is nothing but the mineral which is having a metallic values, such as iron ores, magnetite, hematite and all. Whereas non-metallic elements, minerals are like clays, quartz, marble, etc. These will be having different colors. So it is valuable characteristic of a metallic minerals, whereas it is not, but less valuable in the non-metallic minerals. Luster. Luster is a shine on the surface of the mineral and its appearance under the reflected light. Luster is basically when you throw a light on a particular metal, its reflection. This reflection is said to be, the reflection is also called as shine. The shine of a mineral surface is called as luster. So in this luster, you have a lot many aspects like shiny, polished, matte finished and all. This will come under the lustrous surface. It will show based on the different metal, different minerals have different lusters. So then crystalline. So whether it is a crystal form in the importance when a mineral has had opportunity to develop its natural shape. So crystal form of a mineral is very important when mineral has had the opportunity to develop its natural shape. This is not the normal condition in the rock structure. So this is crystal, whether it is crystal or not. So basically what will happen, different mineral composes and forms a crystal. That is one important property out of this rock forming minerals. Rock formation. So before understanding the geological classification, let us know how the rock is formed, how the basic rock cycle takes place. I'll take you briefly through the rock formation. So generally what will happen, magma will be there at the mantle of the earth crust. Mantle, before earth crust, we will be having a mantle. In this mantle, what will happen, magma from the molten crust, what will happen, due to the heat, high heat and high temperature, the earth material will get melt. It becomes literally a melted liquid. In this liquid will be having very high temperature. Due to high temperature and high pressure, this magma, this molten earth material is called as magma. This magma pushes up on the surface of the earth. In this pressure, wherever the weaker section of the earth is there, this magma, molten magma, high heat magma transports towards the surface of the earth. Then this magma will be hit on the earth's surface. Here the entire magma will come out and this magma is then called as lava. So when magma is there in the earth crust, that is said to be magma. When it comes on the molten magma, then it comes out of the earth surface, that is said to be lava. This lava comes along with the nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, and lot many other gases. So then what will happen while travel of this magma, there will be crystallization of magma takes place under the just below the earth surface, and this rocks, different rocks will form. This may be igneous rock. Then this will forms a complete heat surface. Then due to the weathering actions, erosions, transportation of this molten magma like rock will then transport towards the sedimentation, and sedimentary rock will form due to the compaction and cementation. This sedimentary rock again in the high burial, high temperature and pressure, it becomes the metamorphic rock. This metamorphic rock again melts at high temperature and pressure on the earth's crust. Again it will become a magma. Then again this cycle continuously there in this earth. This continuous cycle of earth from the magma to the primary rock, that is igneous rock, and then to the sedimentary rock, then to the metamorphic and other forms of rocks, and then it melts under the pressure and high pressure and high temperature, and this magma will again travel on the earth. This cycle of traveling of magma from one form to other form is said to be rock cycle. This rock cycle takes place in the nature naturally throughout the hours and 24/7. So this formation of rocks will, different forms of rocks will take place here. This magma will be there in the nature, different forms. That magma, molten magma, and then the crystalline magma that we use in the form of rocks, that we are going to discuss, and that is going to be utilized by the civil engineers, because magma will takes a different shapes, different crystalline surfaces, different colors, different textures, because of its cooling efficiency. When it cools suddenly, it takes a rocking. So this is how the rock cycle takes place. So now yes, let us discuss the main categories, main classification of the rocks, and then we will see the geological classification of rocks. So the main classification of rocks, basically what will happen, the rocks are classified under geological classification, physical classification, chemical classification. So in geological classification, again you have a igneous rock, sedimentary rock, and metamorphic rock. In physical classification, you have stratified, unstratified, and foliated rocks. So then the third one is chemical classification: argillaceous, siliceous, and calcareous. So these are the different categories of the rocks. Now, as far as your syllabus concerned, we are going to discuss geological classification of the rocks. So basically, geological classification of rocks are classified under three categories. Number one, igneous rocks, sedimentary rock, and metamorphic rocks. So this is basic classification of the rocks. So igneous rocks will have a intrusive and extrusive. Gabbro basalt as a extrusive, gabbro is an intrusive rock. So then sedimentary, clastic, and chemical: sandstone, limestone, shell, etc. Metamorphic, under metamorphic you will be getting foliated, slate, schist, non-foliated, quartzite, marble, etc. These are the different rocks based on the geological origin. So let me take you through the different rocks. In that, number one, igneous rock. This igneous rock, igneous, the name igneous comes from the Latin word called ignis. Ignis is nothing but fire. So based on that, this igneous rocks word formed. This igneous rock formed by the cooling and thus solidifying from the molten state of the magma either on or below the earth's surface. So igneous rock is basically formed from the cooling of the molten magma either on the surface of the earth or just below the earth's surface. So this rock is also called as primary rock or unstratified or eruptive rocks or of volcanic origin. So this is a primary rock because anything which comes out from the earthen core of the earth has to be called as primary rock, because it is not like other rocks. Other rocks will form based on this particular rock. That is why this is called as primary rock. So this primary rock is a igneous rock. You may get question in exams also, what is a primary rock? So in that, primary rock is nothing but igneous rock which is formed from the molten metal, either on the surface or below the earth surface. That is why it is called as igneous rock. Okay, then the inner layer of the earth crust are at very high temperature, causing the masses of the silicates to melt. This molten mass is called as magma. The earth crust will be having earthen material. This material will be molten. I mean, it is melted down. It is liquid state because of high pressure and temperature. This liquid state of the earthen material is said to be magma. So magma is forced up as a volcanic eruption and spreads over the surface of the earth, where it solidifies, forming basalt trap. These are known as extrusive rocks. So this molten metal comes out of the earth and solidifies on the surface of the earth through the volcanic eruptions. That is said to be basalt or trap. It forms a rock on the surface of the earth by cooling suddenly. That is said to be basalt and trap, and these are called as extrusive rocks. Intrusive means below the earth surface this molten metal will solidifies, and that is said to be intrusive rocks. See, igneous rocks basically forms with different color, different designs, different shapes and all. As I earlier told you, see the color may be of any type. So then the design, the pattern of the different kinds of rock forming minerals. You can see the different rock forming minerals are there. These rock forming minerals together forms a rock and design. This all the designs and colors will come because of the presence of different forms of different types of rock forming minerals. So igneous rocks will be maybe having any of these colors on any of these patterns, designs. So that igneous rocks can be classified based on its design, texture, the color and design pattern and all. So classification of igneous rocks, again, thus the classification can be done, sub classification of the igneous rocks can be done, that is plutonic rocks, hypabyzal rocks and volcanic rocks. So what do you mean by plutonic rocks? If the magma solidifies just below the earth surface itself, the solid crystalline rock is termed as a deep-seated plutonic rock. Solid crystalline rock is termed as a deep-seated plutonic rock. Example of such rock is said to be granite, syenite, diorite, gabbro, etc. If the magma solidifies at a relatively shallow depth, the resultant rock possesses finely grained crystalline structure and is termed as a hypabyzal rock. Example, dolerite is a such kind of rock. So plutonic rock is nothing but it's just below the earth surface. The rock solidifies and crystalline rock is termed as a plutonic rock. Magma solidifies at relatively shallow depth. The resultant rock possesses the finely grained crystalline structure. See, finely grained, it means it's having grains, finely grained crystalline structures. That is hypabyzal rock. Dolerite is such kind of rock. If the magma solidifies at the earth's surface, cooling takes place very fast, very rapidly, are called as volcanic rocks. Hence the rocks are termed extremely fine grained in structure, that is basalt, trap, etc., andesite, dacite, etc. So the basically what will happen, the grain size is dependent on the principal grain size of the your rock. is basically dependent on the rate of cooling of magma. If the magma cools very fast or the lava cools very fast, then what will happen? The grain size will become very, very fine. If the magma, or you can say when it comes out of the earth crust, then we call it as lava cools very slowly, then the crystalline structure or grain size will be little more bigger size compared to the fast cooling. So that is how the grain size takes place in the your rock formation. The principal constituents of the or ingredients of the magma are quartz, mica, feldspar, etc. The texture of the rock is greatly influenced by the rate of cooling. Rate of cooling is nothing but the time it takes to cool. So if it cools in a second, then the magma cools in a second, then the rock forms with a very fine grained rock. If it cools slowly, then the rocks will be having a little crystalline in nature, crystalline in nature. So that is how this crystallization is very much important. The rate of cooling is very much important in the rocks. Yes, let us take you through the different types of igneous rocks. Andesite, basalt, dolerite. Number 3 is a dolerite. Number 4 is a again dolerite, different color. Diorite, dolerite, gabbro, so granite black in color, granite porphyry, granite red, ruby red is an generally you can see in the tiles and all. Granite white, black and white will be there. Kimberlite, obsidian black. Okay, different green granite is also there. Pegmatite, pumice, rhyolite, etc. These are all igneous rocks with different colors. You can see different colors, different grain size, different texture, etc. So that is a granite igneous rocks. These are the different types of igneous rocks. Then let us see sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks is formed by the process of cementation of the small particles that result from the disintegration of the rocks, are also known as aqueous or stratified rocks. This sedimentary rocks is generally formed by the cementation of the smaller particles that result from the disintegration due to the natural phenomena like air, water, rain, all this stuff. What natural elements? This will air, sun, hot sun, then wind moment, then rain, high rain, flood. All these will that will influence on the rock, and rock will disintegrate. This disintegration will assemble together, cement together. That forms a rock called as sedimentary rocks. The various weathering agents such as rain, sun, air, frost, etc. breaks up the surface of the earth, especially the rocks, primary rocks. Then these particles will deposit at some certain point, certain place. This deposition will be again with high pressure and temperature. This will become a rock. That rock is said to be sedimentary rock. Rainwater carries down these broken pieces of the rivers towards the river. As the river descends down to the plains, the velocity decreases gradually and the sedimentation takes place. With a high velocity, rivers will move. This while when there is a very high rain, what will that do? That will disintegrate. That will fall on the rocks. Rock will become powder. Here and there, it will wear and tear takes place. Then that rock powders or rock particles will flow towards the river with a high flood. All the particles of the different types of rocks may be carried towards the river, and this river will form certain deposition at certain place. This deposition of different disintegrated pieces of the rock will form a rock. That rock is said to be sedimentary rock. So disintegrated rock pieces, sand, silt, clay, debris, etc., in water will settle on the water bodies. Due to the seasonal variation, sedimentation takes place in the layer on the beds of the river, which forms the sedimentary rocks. This high flood will carry all the type of rock pieces, wood pieces, whatever there, clay, debris, whatever there, everything will be carried and settled on the water bodies, and this settlement will take place for a period of time, and then this settlement it forms the rock. That rock is said to be sedimentary rock. The example of sedimentary rocks resulting from the precipitation of the salts in drying water basin, chemical deposition, or these are the chemical deposition, or gypsum, andesite, magnesite, dolomite, etc. So these are the deposition, chemical deposition. So these depositions like limestone, topaz, dolomite, magnesite, andesite, gypsum are the chemical depositions. So sedimentary rocks resulting from the accumulation of the plant or animal remains are limestone, shale, chalk, diatomite, tripoli, etc. These are the sedimentary rocks. These are also sedimentary rocks. Chemical deposition also sedimentary rocks. So these organic rocks are limestone, shale, chalk, etc. These are formed due to the animal residues. The example of rocks resulting from the deterioration of the massive magnetic or sedimentary rocks, fragmental rocks, are sandstone, sand, gravel, carbonate, conglomerate, breccia, etc. These are the examples of rocks resulting from the deterioration of the massive magnetic or sedimentary rocks. So sedimentary rocks, these are some of the pictures of the sedimentary rocks. As I said you, the different rocks which are small pieces, small fragments are carried from the river and carried from the high floods and settled on a river or any aquatic bodies like water bodies. Then with high pressure, all together cement together, all together joined together, all particles together joined. These joints or amalgamation or conglomeration is called as sedimentary rocks. This is called as conglomerate sedimentary rock. Sandstone, it is very aesthetic in exterior views and all. Then shale, then you have a limestone, gypsum, fossiliferous, marl, etc. These are the sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary, picture of sedimentary rocks. So next, very important aspect of different division of rocks are metamorphic rocks. I'll take you through the metamorphic rocks. First we saw the igneous rock, which is directly comes out from the molten metal, that is from the earth crust. That is said to be your primary rock. Then the igneous rock we saw the different types of igneous rocks, and then we moved to the sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rock is nothing but it's a rock formed due to the amalgamation or sedimentation of the different smaller pieces of debris and other rock pieces, etc. together forms a sedimentary rock. What is the metamorphic rock then? Metamorphic rock is again formed by the gradual changes in the structure of either igneous rock or sedimentary rocks caused by the heat or water or pressure. So gradual changes in the structure of the either igneous or sedimentary rocks caused by the heat, water and pressure. Due to the heat, this metamorphic rock forms. These changes in the structure by the igneous or sedimentary rocks are of action of Earth's movement, temperature changes, liquid pressures, etc. The resultant mass may have a foliated structure, example slate, gneiss, schist, phyllite, or non-foliated structure, example marble, quartzite, serpentine, etc. So there are two things, foliated and non-foliated. Foliated structure means the structure will be having a stratified, and non-foliated means like a marble, it will not be having stratified, direct one plane will be there. So these are the metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks formed from the igneous rock or sedimentary rock due to the change in climate of the rock, change in atmosphere of the rock like heat, temperature, pressure or any other additional natural agencies. So that is how the metamorphic rock forms. Example of the transformation of the rocks from one form to other form. So generally what I told, rock metamorphic rock is a one rock which is formed either due to the igneous rock or due to the sedimentary rocks because of heat, pressure and water or any other earth movement. These things will form, or liquid pressure, liquid movement, that metamorphic rock will be formed. See, the granite, which is igneous rock, will form a gneiss in metamorphic rock. Syenite, again it will form a gneiss. Sandstone is generally a sedimentary rock which forms a cordazite. Limestone, it forms a marble or schist. Limestone is originally it is a sedimentary rock which forms marble or schist due to the external atmospheric agencies like heat, water, temperature and all. So it forms marble or schist. Marl forms a marble. Shale forms a slate, schist, phyllite, etc. Mudstone forms a slate. Dolomite forms a marble. Again, different kinds of marbles are there in the market. Dolerite, basalt, schists are there. Calcite, tuff, etc. Conglomerite, gneiss, etc. will form you gneiss and schist. See, generally, if you go to the market, you can find n number of rocks. And if you go to the tile cutting, some of the shops nearby you can see granite will be having a different colors with different forms. Then marble will be having a different colors and different sizes. It is available. These are generally used, normally used in the flooring. So granite will be having a different variants like 80 rupees square feet to you have 200 rupees, 300 rupees square feet. Cost in the Bangalore market city or even Bangalore outskirts too. 300, 400, even 500 rupees square feet also you will get the different quality of granites, different shades of the granite, different colors, different textures of the granite. Similarly, marble also you have green marble, polished green marbles, and you have Baroda green marble, etc. All these marbles will also available on the market. Maybe varies from 40 rupees square feet to even 200 rupees square feet based on the locality. These rates will change. Generally 45 to 50 rupees square feet is what the market rate for marbles today. Green marble is one rate, and if you take some other white marble will be some other rate. So these general rates you need to understand. Well, we have to go around the market, search for the different types of granites, search for the different types of stones, and just inquire them about the rates, and gather all the data. Whenever you go out of the colleges, when you become an engineer, you must know the rates and different qualities of the granite present at the market, so as to enrich your knowledge. Whenever you go out of the market, you go out of the college, you need to have these kind of informations which are generally attached to your syllabus. So these are the different types of marbles, so different types of sandstones which are available on the different types of metamorphic rocks which are formed from one form to other form. So let me take you through different types of metamorphic rocks. Gneiss rock, marble rock, slate. This you can see slates. It will be there in the stratified one layer to other layer. Marble, gneiss, then cordazite, then schist, etc. So these are the rocks which are available in the market. So we are coming to the end of the topic, that is different types of geological classification of rocks, and we saw different types of rocks too. So to have a brief analysis, let us go through some assessment here, quick assessment. I will read the question, I'll give you the option, you just guess the answer. Multiple choice questions will be there. Which of the following is not a classification of rocks from which building stones are obtained? Geological classification, biological classification, physical classification, chemical classification. What is the answer? Yes, it is C. The question, which of the following is not a classification? That is, biological classification is not a classification. Answer is a B. Number 2, dolerite is an example of dash rock. Plutonic, sedimentary, hyperbolous, volcanic. Answer is answer C, hyperbolous rock. So which of the following is not a physical classification of rock? Stratified rock, unstratified rocks, calcareous rocks, foliated rock. Which of the following is not a physical classification of rock? Answer is C, calcareous rock, because it is a chemical classification. In which of the following rocks clay predominates? Argillaceous rocks, calcareous rocks, siliceous rocks, volcanic rocks. Answer is A, argillaceous rocks. Number 5, quartz sand is an example of polymineralic rock, while granite is an example of monomineralic rock. Mono means single, poly means more. So answer is true or false? Which one is the answer? Quartz sand is an example of polymineralic rock, or while granite is an example of monomineralic. True or false? Of course it is a false statement, because quartz has got a single mineral, that is white color mineral, that is quartzite, whereas granite has got a different minerals. Granite is available in red, black, white, red, black, white, etc. That is polymineralic. Basalt is an example of dash rock: sedimentary, volcanic, metamorphic, plutonic. Basalt, it's a primary rock, so it comes under volcanic rocks. Primary rock, volcanic rocks, primary volcanic rocks. So the rocks generally used for roofing is granite, basalt, slate, pumice. So answer is, it's a C, because slate we can form different low thickness and length, more width and length. The rock formed by the gradual depositions are called as rocks formed by the gradual deposition are called as sedimentary rock, igneous rock, metamorphic rock. None of these. Answer is A, sedimentary rock forms gradually deposition of the primary rocks. If the magma solidifies at a relatively shallow depth, the resultant rock possesses a finely grained crystalline structure, and it comes under which classification of the rocks? Relatively shallow depth. Sedimentary rock, igneous rock, metamorphic rock. Then any of the above. Which one is this? Answer is answer B, igneous rock. If the magma itself is solidifying at relatively shallow depth, that is said to be what? Finally grained crystalline structure, which comes under the classification of B, that is said to be igneous rock. Number 10, color of the mineral in a powder form is said to be luster, crystal, streak, hardness. It's a streak. So thank you so much for listening to me, and if you have any question, please write to us. Thank you so much.